Look around. Everything feels like déjà vu, right? Strategies that once worked like magic suddenly fizzle out. Growth that was explosive starts feeling like a slow leak. If it seems like the old playbook just isn't cutting it anymore, that's because it isn't. The world you built your playbook for is gone. It packed up, left, and didn't even bother leaving a forwarding address. Every second you cling to tactics designed for a bygone era, you lose ground to those who actually get what's happening right now. This isn't just a tweet-worthy headline or a trendy buzzword. It's the brutal truth that founder after founder, investor after investor, leader after leader stares in the face every day. The strategies that fueled the economic booms, the market expansions, the investor mindsets of the last decade, they're outdated. They're legacy systems running on borrowed time, built on assumptions and truths that crumble under the intense pressure of today's chaos. Not tomorrow, today. There's a glass ceiling you can't see, but it's razor thin and relentless. It's the boundary drawn by outdated thinking that smothers innovation before it even sees daylight. It's the comfort of, this is how it was done, the chains of consensus that prevent the explosive breakthroughs your business screams for. You're trapped between a promise of growth and the suffocating reality of stagnant results. The worst part? Everyone around you acts like it's the same game, except it isn't. You're battling invisible enemies: complacency, outdated metrics, half-baked digital transformations, the illusion of scale without substance. And no matter how much you grind, hustle, or pivot, it feels like you're swimming upstream in mud. Here's the raw truth. The old growth strategies, the ones penned by experts and celebrated gurus, focus on systems that reward the average, the predictable, the safe. They idolize scale, but ignore the radical changes that only the nimble, the bold, the visionary can harness. These strategies look great on paper, but when you put them into practice in this fractured, hyper-connected, insanely fast-moving decade, they collapse. Why? Because they are based on static, linear thinking. They assume the world is stable. It isn't. They measure success by yesterday's KPIs. They expect loyalty in a world where attention spans are microscopic. They celebrate efficiency, but kill originality. In essence, if your growth plan doesn't breathe with the chaotic rhythm of today, it's already dead. So what does growth look like for this decade? You want answers, right? Not some fluffy cliches about disrupt or die. Real concrete insider insight you don't hear anywhere else? First, growth no longer thrives on control. Startups and giants alike are realizing that trying to control every variable leads to paralysis. The market is a living, breathing organism. It twists, it breaks, it surprises. Instead of control, growth demands agility on steroids. This means creating strategies that live and evolve daily, not quarterly. Forget the thick reports that gather dust. Embrace constant experimentation. Make every part of your organization a learning lab. Every loss, data, every success, fuel. Let go of perfection and embrace iteration with an obsession that borders on madness. Not a step is sacred, and every move challenges what came before. Second, growth depends on connection, but not the connection you're thinking about. It's not just your network or your pipeline. It's about connecting rare brilliance to rare brilliance. The future favors those who don't just build teams, but who build autonomous, deeply complementary tribes. Your growth strategy should craft a web of diversity so wild, so electric, it sparks unforeseen innovation. Seek out the outliers, the weird ones, those misunderstood by the mainstream. Align with the handful of players who burn as you do, not the masses who settle. The magic happens at these intersections of difference and intensity. This is ecosystem thinking on a personal level, growth fueled by symbiotic energy, not hollow collaboration. Third, Growth in this decade demands ruthless sovereignty. That means owning your narrative, your decisions, your failures, your wins, without bowing to the ever-changing whims of trends, viral moments, or false norms. Influence is earned, not borrowed or stolen. If your strategy looks like it's chasing followers or mimicking competitors, it's doomed. Instead, build a growth plan anchored in your unique mission, values, and vision that scream authenticity. That way, even if the winds shift violently, your ship doesn't just survive, it sails straight through, propelled by a force others can't replicate because it's raw and fiercely original. This sovereignty becomes your weapon against noise, distraction, and mediocrity. Fourth, stop seeing growth as scaling in volume. The obsession with numbers, followers, revenue, or any single metric is a trap. Growth is instead about depth, impact, and strategic pressure points. Imagine focusing every resource on a few game-changing moves instead of spreading efforts thin across a dozen mediocre initiatives. Growth now demands patient, long-game thinking where you plant seeds that sprout decades later. This kind of growth requires discipline the system tries to kill, the discipline to say no, to reject easy wins for massive future payoff, to endure isolation when the crowd demands instant gratification. In this patience lies power. So how do you start? Strip everything down to these essentials: agility, rare connection, sovereignty, and patience. Build your strategy around rapid cycles of testing and adapting. Hunt relentlessly for brilliant collaborators, not just employees or partners. Own your story like your life depends on it, because it does. And lock in for the long haul, knowing that true transformation never bends to the calendar, but to the unyielding will of those who refuse to quit. This isn't advice for the faint-hearted or the comfortable. It's a call to arms for the relentless, the restless, those who feel the fire inside that no board meeting, no industry report, no old-school guru can ever tap into. You're not here to follow rules. You're here to break them, rewrite them, and be the signal that others run toward when the noise gets unbearable. Ask yourself, is your growth strategy coddling yesterday's reality? Is it framing the future in ancient maps? Because if it is, you might as well be trading in horse carriages in the age of rockets. The world no longer rewards those who fit neatly into boxes. It rewards those who burn their boxes down to build bridges no one else even dreamed of. When everyone else holds tight to legacy, the extraordinary leap forward will come from the edges, from those who saw the system for what it was, a cage disguised as comfort. Your growth strategy must do more than manage growth. It must light a fire so fierce it forces evolution. It must connect the disconnected, amplify the rare, and unlock power waiting to explode from inside you and your network. It must embrace uncertainty, not as a threat, but as the crucible where greatness is forged. Step into this thinking, and suddenly every setback turns into your secret weapon. Every disruption becomes a doorway. Every doubter fuels your conviction. Because you're not here to be average, safe, or accepted. You're here to be remembered. The clock is ticking, the decade is roaring. History will write the stories of those who dared to rethink growth for this chaos-entangled reality. The question isn't, can you keep up? But, will you refuse to be left behind? This is your moment to transform obsession into opportunity, pain into power, and strategy into a revolution. Don't settle for a growth plan that's yesterday's news. Build one that's the dawn of everything next. The future doesn't wait. Neither should you.